Welcome to Fly Adventures. With over 2 decades of expertise in aviation, we're taking you to new heights. Join us as we master water takeoffs and landings in the Dornier SeaStar at Honolulu International. Let's dive in and soar together.
Well, now there we go, everybody. Just like she said, welcome back. And like we promised in the previous video, we're going to give you a more in-depth look as to a water takeoff and landing, and how to do it, and how to do it the right way. And in this case, we're going to be utilizing the Dornier SeaStar in order to do that. All right. I've already got the batteries on along with the emergency battery, but everything else is pretty much off. Let's go up and turn on the appropriate lights. Those lights are mysteriously already turned on. Interesting. We'll just leave those lights as is. Let's see, nav beacon strobe on, landing lights on, and then the seatbelt and no electronics. That's also on. All right. Generators, they need to go on.
Copy that. Generators next.
And could you tell everybody listening how many SeaStars has Dornier manufactured?
Dornier has manufactured around 27 SeaStars, making it a rare gem in the world of amphibious aircraft. Each one is a testament to innovative design and engineering. Ready for more?
Not at the moment.
Got it. Take your time.
And we're going to go ahead and start up engine number 1. And as you can see, while she was talking, I simply moved the mode switches to continuous ignition.
Mm-hmm.
And there we go. We've got...
Yep. Engine 1.
We've got engine 1 cranking up here, and what Copilot is trying to do is trying to do its best to be a AI Copilot, because I tweaked it, the settings here and there. But anyway, concentration though is on the aircraft itself and landing, taking off and landing in the SeaStar with a water takeoff. We'll fly the pattern, upwind, crosswind, downwind, base, final, and then we'll be landing in the water, and we'll be showing you what this is like. Copilot, are you still there? I think now she is obviously gone. It's always interesting when you call for Copilot, how it disappears on you, and just find it interesting. But let's see here. Anyway, see, engine number 2 is coming up pretty good. According to the MFD over here, you can see it says auto feather is off. We're correcting that. ECS in-op, turning that on. Turning on the blowers here, auto, and obviously the recirculation fan goes on as well. And looks like both engines are up and running. And let's have a nice evening flight. Flaps are gonna be set to 20, and before we get into the water, let's turn on the water thrusters here. Before we do, I just want to explain something, and that is what I briefly explained in the previous episode that I did very, very briefly, and that is the term on plane. Now, that terminology is synonymous with the maritime industry, And that means that the hull of the boat comes on top of the water instead of being down below the water line. And the same thing is with this aircraft. As you can see, I have enough light on the right side, or is it the same? It's about the same. The water line, before we get up on plane, no pun intended, means that the water is going to be right about here. Let me go to a 90-degree angle to the nose. Here we go. The water, before getting up on plane, is going to be from here all the way up and up into way above the landing gear housing, and then up and underneath the nose, and out in front of the nose. Once we have enough speed, the plane, let me rephrase this, the aircraft will be on plane, meaning the hull right here is going to be up on top of the water instead of being below the water line, on top of the water, and the drag will go away pretty fast, and then the aircraft will really begin to accelerate, and within about 5,000 to roughly 6,000 feet, the aircraft is going to accelerate a great deal. Since we're outside and this is a simulator and I try to make it as realistic as possible, we might as well go ahead and check our flight controls right now. Ailerons look good. Elevator, good, and that's going to come in key when we come into land and keep the airplane above the water before we touch down and keeping it right where we need it. And then we're also going to be working the rudder through real quick, left and all the way to the right. Good. All right, let's get in. Just reposition the camera just a bit so it's where we want it to be when we get out into the water. Alright, everything here is, let's do a flow one more time. Electrical systems are where they need to be. Fuel, good. Engine, continuous ignition. Auto feather is armed. Actually, technically, it's not armed yet. You'll actually see it become armed up here in the MFD as we set the takeoff thrust. Bleeds are on, and the environmental control system is on. No ice equipment required because of, well, where we are, Honolulu. And the recirculation fan is on. And the blowers for both the flight deck as well as the cabin, they're on. I should say they're on auto. Alright. And let's go ahead and get rolling. And let's set the transponder very quickly. 120 is what we need to be. 1200. Very quickly, let's do that. 1200 altitude energy and standby mode is going to go to. Alright, good. And by the way, if you simply select your altimeter mode to ALT ground, and you can see in green there it says standby. With the Honeywell Avionics suite here, automatically moves the transponder from standby to reporting. It does it automatically, so when you're up in the air, as soon as you take off, technically before you get into the air, it begins to give you TA and RA, and it goes to like a built-in test, if you will, as you're going down the runway, or in this case, a water runway. So let's do this, and let's get into the water. Did we turn on the thrusters for the water over here? We did. Good. The only reason it says fault is because we're not in the water. Let's look at this from the outside here. Here's our, technically the ramp is right here. It's just for some odd reason the scenery doesn't want to load properly. This is the ramp that we use to get into the water. As soon as we get around the pier and we get away from the pier, which is right about now. Turn this way just a little bit. Let's see what happens as we bring up the landing gear. A little dark on this side. There we go. Now we're in the water. All right. Okay, looking good. All right, lining up with runway. What is this? 04? Yeah, water runway 04. And we're going to turn on the C mode for now. Water thrusters coming off because we need the rudder. And that's very, very important, by the way. If you leave this on, let me show you what happens. Turn on that. Says fault. Now it's got water in it. Watch what happens. This moves, but the rudder pedals don't. That means that the rudder technically is not moving. Although if I had to guess, knowing Microsoft as I do, the rudder still moves, even though the pedals are not. But anyway, my point is, it now moves the thruster and not the rudder pedals. But for now, we don't need the thrusters. We're going to be going plenty fast enough. And we're going to turn those off. And there's nothing but the main rudder in the back. And let's go have some fun. Let's put the condition levers here on the right to high idle. And we'll just give those a few seconds to get into, there we go, and generators 1 and 2 voltage high. Alright, now let's go all the way with the thrust. There we go, see that on the MFD? Auto feather is armed. And let's put all the power in, not all the way because we don't want to get the little faulty Microsoft warning that the engines are overspeeding, which doesn't make any sense. Okay, we are definitely on plane. We're skipping along the water very nicely. And let's go ahead and rotate, pull back on the yoke very nicely. Anytime now. It should be in the air by now. That's good. There we go. Whoa, it pops out like a... And it should not do that. That is not the way it should work. And the parking brake issue with Microsoft Flight Sim is still an issue. Okay, flaps 20. Obviously, when you retract flaps, the nose wants to drop a little bit. Alright. Since we're just going to be flying around Honolulu here very quickly, we're going to be landing on the same runway that we took off from. Let's go... Let's go this way just a little bit. Let's push the nose down a little bit so we don't need to gain any more altitude. And we need to go, let's do a right bank angle. There we go. Looking good. Looking looking very good. Let's get back into the flight deck. And we're going to begin to bring that throttle back, because 148 knots is there. Bring it back even more. All the way to idle, really. And let's look here. C mode is still on. Good. And we're going to be slowing down the best we can. And one way to slow it down is to put it into a bank angle and pull back on the yoke nicely. That is some highway system down there. Wow. All right. Looking good. Looking very good. Coming in a little fast, but we've got the engines idling, so they'll slow down here just as soon as we begin to bring that nose up. What we're going to do, we're going to go to an outside video angle, and you're going to see where to put the nose with regard to landing it. Okay, hold the nose up, hold it up, hold it up, hold it up, hold it up. There we go. Notice I'm keeping the elevator up and slowly bringing it to neutral. Technically, we're still on plane. If you look, the nose now is beginning to drop into the water. As we slowly slow down, I'm not utilizing any reverse thrust at all. If I did, it would come to a stop pretty quickly. And now we're off plane, and we're settling in nicely into the water. Let's make sure that the water thruster is on real quick. It's not. That's what I thought. It wasn't responding well to my inputs here. Let's see. Oh yeah, now it turns on a dime in the water. Okay. Okay, let's keep the engines up and running at a little faster speed so we get to the we can get over to the boat launch quicker. You know, bring up the flaps, retract the flaps, get those up, and we're looking. Yeah, now we're back on. We're on plane again, which is fine. That means that what it really means for you is, yeah, you're gonna get to your destination quicker if you're in this kind of situation, but that you're simply losing a lot of drag when you do it. Now we're gonna slow down. The plane is coming. Well, let me rephrase that. Aircraft is coming off plane. And I believe the ramp is right over there. Yes, it is. So let me see how much water we got to play with out here. But I think you got the idea as to what on plane looks like versus not being on plane. And right now it obviously is not. And we're gonna come over here. Let's go this way just a little bit. We're gonna lower the landing gear before we go toward the ramp. And then Okay, landing gear should be down by now. We should be coming into contact with the ground here any moment. There we go. It's a nice subtle ramp that we're on. And let's see, where's the ramp? There it is, right there. Alright. We'll be doing this in a different location in the next flight, because a lot of people like the SeaStar, and there we go. The landing gear handles things very well. And next time, let's do this in Alaska. But if you guys say in the comments you want to move on to a different aircraft, just say so, and we will. And if you would like me to do tutorials in a different aircraft, do let me know in the comments section below. Been in the real industry for a long time, so that is that. And I did promise you in the previous video that we'd do a proper shutdown. So let's set the parking brake. And what are the conditions? Water thruster, okay, not in the water anymore. C mode is off. Let's bring those condition levers to low idle. There we go. And let's look at the fuel pumps. They do not, the standbys do not need to be running, nor do the main pumps. The engine mode selectors, let's turn off this from the shutdown flow that I like to do is lights on the exterior lights, so that's going to be landing lights off. Here, beacon, and we can go ahead and turn off that one. We'll turn off these. We'll turn off the seatbelt sign, beacon, and navigation lights. Those three lights will go. I'm sorry. Yeah, I guess you can call that a light. Those three lights will go off just before we shut down the batteries in this aircraft. That's the best practice when operating this airplane. So like I said, the shutdown flow is going to go right to left. So ECS, ice, bleed, engine fuel, and then electric. But just before electric, that's when we turn off the lights on the overhead, as we just talked about. So the recirculation fan goes off. The blowers go off. Ice protection system, nothing is on there. Turn off the environmental control. Turn the bleeds off. Auto feather is off. Engine modes, engines number 2 and 1 go off. The fuel pumps are already off. Cabin power and our generator power goes off. And we're going to turn off the engines by... I have a throttle quadrant. Gonna move those off, both of them. That will shut off the engines here. You can watch it right happen outside. Let's see how good they modeled the props when the sun is going down. Not bad. They could have done a slightly better job than that, but that's okay. They look a little stiff when they're no longer rotating. Alright. Fuel pumps off. Generators are off. And let's get those lights that I talked about. So seatbelt signs off. Beacon, navigation lights off, off, off. And the battery switches off, and off. And the only thing that keeps the avionics running is that emergency battery that in this aircraft always has to be on. And there we go. Go ahead and hop out of the airplane real quick here. And well, there we have it. Welcome back to the ramp. I'll call it the boat launch and or water ramp at Honolulu. And like I said, we'll be coming back to the Dornier SeaStar later in the adventure. Like I said, if there are any airplanes that you want me to put up on the channel and do a tutorial and or a real deep dive into it, please let me know, and that'll happen. And at the moment, though, I simply want to thank everybody for watching. I do hope you got something out of it. We did our research, and I had them look into when was the last time, with regard to Microsoft Flight Sim 2024, when was the last time that anyone did a Dornier SeaStar video on YouTube? And the research came back and it showed sometime in January, almost 2 months ago to the day, at least as to what the research came back with. And I said, all right, well, let's do a video on this one, especially after Sim Update 1 for 2024. And yeah, I think it's good. It can make some improvements on behalf of Microsoft and Asobo, but overall, for getting somebody ready to get into flying amphibious aircraft, I think this is a pretty good platform for you to start at. I've already tried out the air tractor that's on floats, and this aircraft here, the Dornier SeaStar, handles by far way better, and I also think it handles better than the Bombardier Canadair water bomber by a long shot. So like I said, whatever aircraft, if there are aircraft that you would like for me to do a tutorial on, or take it up and look at the various avionics and give you my thoughts as to what I think about it, how it handles in the air, how the systems function, drop that in the comments section below. I will always read the comments, and I'll always do my best to answer them, because that is the proper way, in my view and our view here at Fly Adventures, as how we can grow the channel. So until next time, everybody out there, take care and fly safe.